Alright, welcome back. So we're gonna take a look at this mono black 8-rack deck that I made for Modern. This is a pretty cheap deck to make. It's also pretty competitive. It's not gonna win like any big tournaments, but at your local, RCQ or whatever, you would probably do pretty well. I did take this to RCQ a couple times, and I have top 8 a couple times, so, and even top 4, so pretty good. So some of the most expensive cards, I'll talk about them as we go through them. So you're gonna want playset of Thoughtseize. It's just good in pretty much every format that it's legal in. Some people like it, some people don't. I think for Modern, I mean, there's so many like cheap spells that it's just great running. So Raven's Crime it's okay. The big part is the retrace ability. So there's been times where you go in the late game and your opponent may like hold on to cards. This is a good way to continue discarding. And for push, depending on the matchup, push is usually pretty good. So those are the main 1-mana spells there. Other than like those were the discard and the I guess the 1-mana removal spell for Fatal Push. So for the racks, pretty self-explanatory. It's like pretty much always good after the late game. Shrieking Affliction is better than 8-rack, or better than the rack, but not by much. Next is 4 Wrench Mind. Wrench Mind, some people play 3, 2. I play 4 because a card, I mean, if you have this in your opening hand, it's pretty good. Unless you're playing against Affinity, then the card sucks, obviously, so you would want to board that out. We have the dumbest card in the deck is Smallpox. You do have to watch out because sometimes this hurts you, equally as much as it hurts your opponent, so you got to be careful when to play this. I usually wait till I have basically nothing in my hand to play this, so I basically lose 1 card or 2 cards, my land and this card, and my opponent sacks a creature, sacks the land, and discards. So it's a 2 for 3 in that scenario. So always try to play that card last if possible. We have 3 Bitter Triumphs. I'll talk about that more in a minute, but talk about the 3 Lilies. Really, you should probably play 4, but I only have 3 right now. Liliana is really expensive for some reason. So Liliana, Thoughtseize, there's another card, Snaring Bridge, 3 of these as well. This, Liliana and then Thoughtseize are pretty much the 3 most expensive cards in the deck. And then, so the reason why I'm playing Bitter Triumph is that it has a discard outlet for Ensnaring Bridge. So like, if you have too many cards in your hand and you need to get rid of as many cards as a bunch of cards quickly, Bitter Triumph is great. Liliana is also very good at that because you also have the discard. So Ensnaring Bridge on its own can just beat basically a lot of decks in the format. But it has, I will say, there has been a lot more answers printed recently. So at the last two tournaments I took this to, I had this cited out for other stuff because people they have more answers now. So there's that. I'll get to the sideboard in a minute, but the lands are 4 castle locked lands, and then I don't even know how many it's well, whatever 8 plus 7 is. So is that 19 together? 19 total. Okay, let's move on to. All right, so we have double Witch's Vengeance. Card is incredibly cheap, and it just completely destroys tribal decks. At my locals, some people play tribal. Otherwise, you know, at RCQ, I wouldn't run this because pretty much no one runs tribal anymore because of Bowmasters, but some people do at my locals, so that's why it's in there. Damping Spear for Tron. I haven't really seen Tron a whole lot. Eldrazi maybe, but Eldrazi usually with Eldrazi they play like one big spell, and you know it's usually that's how they win. So this is for mainly, you know, Tron and like decks that try to do that kind of strategy. Blood Chief's Thirst. This is in here. Mainly it's just more early game removal. And then Legion's End is really good against like go wide token decks. It's also good for any decks that run like a lot of cheap creatures, and like example like Inti, you know, it just gets rid of that and all the copies on the board. So Legion's End's pretty good. Yeah, more removal. This is Sack Outlet for the few people at my locals who run like boggles and stuff like that. So that's just an easy way to get rid of them. Apparently I'm playing 3 of these. It's a promo one. I have that in there for some reason. And then 2 Duress. And this stuff here is for Legacy. So sometimes they run Legacy, so I'll throw this in here for something. So that's pretty much it. Some other cards you can probably add to this. Some people splash white for 8 rack, but I mean, I just prefer to stick with monocolors decks to kind of like reduce the cost of it. And that's about it.